Hello, and welcome to another episode of Winning Where It Matters. My name is Kyei Amoako, and it's a pleasure to have you join me once again. This week, I watched a video about a partnership um, involving a bank, a real estate developer, and a packaging company who developed, renovated an old building into the headquarters of the packaging company. And this happened in Dubuque, Iowa. They had an option to, they had other options. They could have found new land and build from scratch, but they wanted to renovate this old iconic historic building in the community and turn that into the headquarters. So that would require some creative architecture and repurposing and financing, and they had to kind of think a little deeper about how they would go about it. The path they chose wasn't the obvious or the easiest part. As a matter of fact, it was harder because it was going to take a little longer, maybe cost a little bit more, but they chose that path. And towards the end of the video, the CEO of the packaging company made a statement, shared a line that I thought was very profound. He said, sometimes the hardest things lead to the best things. Sometimes the hardest things lead to the best things. That stuck with me the more I thought about it because I realized that statement applies to more than building buildings or making business decisions. I think there is a lot that we could all take from that as we carry on with our life's decisions and work hard on winning where it matters. It led me to asking the question of why we sometimes avoid doing hard things. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I don't like doing hard things. Or maybe let me say it differently. I don't like doing hard things that I don't find valuable. The CEO, banker, and real estate developer, they chose to do the hard thing. They chose that route because they said they were choosing long term value over short term convenience, which I think is a perfect scenario under which I would choose to do hard things. I would choose to do hard things because I see value in it, because I see that it aligns to the things that I think matter. I don't always do. And so maybe you might have to save this video and send it to me someday when I have a choice to do a hard thing and I'm probably um, drifting off into doing the easier part. But with that said, I think we all have the tendency of choosing to do easier things because hard things are hard. Hard things means you would have to put a little extra effort into it. Doing hard things mean you would have to put a little bit more thinking into it. Doing hard things mean you would have to overcome your own biases or your preconceived notions about situations, and that's not natural for most of us. We don't like doing that. And so I think that's why we avoid doing hard things. But as the man said, doing hard things lead to good things. And so flipping it around and maybe giving ourselves the opportunity to lean into hard things, especially when those things matter, especially when those things have value. I think we could definitely bring some good things in our lives and have some good experiences. So, some of the things that I think about where this concept may apply, right, include at work. And so that's with doing work and doing good work. And that might mean not just sending off your first draft as your final work. It might mean spending a little bit of time with that first draft before you push it off. That might mean thinking a little bit more about your thinking and challenging yourself to see if this was the best work you could produce. And even doing hard things might mean taking on a stretch assignment, just not getting comfortable with doing the same things or the easiest things because they're easy. Because when we do hard things and we do them well, good things can happen. Another area that this resonated with me in regards to the value of doing hard things and doing it well was in the area of learning, right? Learning, personal growth, personal development. I think there's a lot of value in doing hard things. Um, a lot of growth happens when we subject ourselves to doing harder things. And again, not hard things just for the sake of doing hard things, because some hard things are just not gratifying. It just feels like punishment. But I think when it's hard things, when it's aligned to value, it's aligned to purpose, it's aligned to meaning, it's worth leaning into. Speaking of learning, just want to add one point about this concept of productive struggle. This is an idea where when you're learning, it's believed that the learning happens when you go through the productive struggle. Because if I gave you a math problem and I just gave you the answer and you didn't go through trying to figure out why is this that, why is it that, and then finding your way to an answer, you're not learning. If I'm in a coaching session with you and I'm telling you what to do, you're not learning. You're not coming up with your own answers. You're not coming up with your own way to figure out how to move forward. But if I am in the process of having a conversation with you and I'm asking questions and giving you time to think through your thoughts, it may not be the easiest path, because if I just gave you the answer, that would be easy. But that would be easier. But by you going through that productive struggle of thinking about what you're going to do next, why you made that choice, what does that mean? What options have you thought about? That is an example of a productive struggle that would lead to good things. And so when the man in the video said hard things, sometimes hard things lead to good things, I couldn't help but think of those examples and wanted to share that with all of us, that as we take steps throughout work, personal lives, when we have the choice to do something that's hard, remember that sometimes hard things lead to good things. And ask yourself if that hard thing is worth leaning into. And if your answer is yes, I highly encourage you to do the hard things well, and good things can happen. If there's any way that I could help you with some hard things that you are trying to navigate, don't hesitate to reach out. As always, I believe in you, and I hope you believe in yourself too. I'll see you on the next one.